All right, guys. Welcome to the Avengers Weekly Recap, episode 12. My name is High Ruler. Joining me, as always, is Stardust for our very first live show. Stardust, what's going on?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, chat? Woo, we're live. Yo to your back, Sam. This is good, this.
What's going on, guys? So today, Stardust and I are going to be doing this live. We're going to try out a live format here. Same sort of thing that we do in the videos and the podcast recordings that you guys listen to, but we'll also be able to take questions live from you guys at the end, or maybe in the future we can bring on people that may have missed like a Friday session that can come on and talk to Stardust and I together. So usually how these works, if you guys are new here, you haven't watched the Avengers Weekly Recap, what we usually do is we go through a few topics, usually 3 or 4 depending on the week, and then we just kind of chit chat and have some fun, and kind of chill. So
I just want everyone to know that he makes me
yes,
do this. He
yeah, I
holds my
do,
family hostage.
I do.
I have to ask if my mum is safe before every recording.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, and also it's Happy Mother's Day, so hope you
There
guys
you
all
go.
spend some time with your mothers. Speaking of, it's a good little segue there, Stardust. So hope you
Thank you,
guys
man.
had some fun with your moms today. Spend some time, had some brunch, some
That's
lunch,
a
some
bit
dinner.
weird, bro. Jeez.
Yeah, don't make it weird.
That's some
Uh, don't make it weird. Don't make it weird.
fucking
We're
weirdo.
literally like 3 minutes into this live broadcast, and you're already making it weird, dude. That's
Whoa,
crazy.
is that how you roll, bro?
Anyway,
Jeez.
anyways, so the topics today, I don't think I've talked about this yet. Topics today obviously are the event, obviously the Rooskaya protocols. We can talk all about start to finish, how they advertised the
Action-packed.
event, and then kind of Andy coming out on Friday and kind of backtracking a little bit over it. We can talk about the roadmap update next week, and then we could talk about the I'm missing the last one. What's the last topic? OLTs, too soon or
Yeah,
too
that
late?
one.
Yes, that's it. So yeah, man, I guess we can get started on the Ruskaya protocols here and just kind of jump right into it. What did you think? 'Cause I know you did like a whole review, and I'm not gonna ask you
Yeah,
to like rehash your whole review video, but like
I could have done.
if you had 30 seconds to describe this event to someone, in those 30 seconds, what would you say?
Um, so, okay, the challenges you get on a weekly basis on your challenge card, put them on a mission chain. That's it.
And
That's it.
yeah, essentially,
That's it.
yeah. Um, honestly, like okay, so say for example, you're already done all those challenges, right? Are you
Yeah.
gonna log back in to redo those like when they reset, like if they reset in on Thursday? Like is that something like you as a dedicated player that logs in daily, is that something you're kind of waiting for, like the clock's ticking down to Thursday and you're like, I need to log back in and do this? Is that something that's driving you or not really?
No, so here's the thing with that, right? Is that obviously materials are always okay. Like it's not ideal reward, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't mind doing maybe like 2 or 3 just to get back my numbers up that I spent from the last bunch.
Right.
But like it's not something I'm looking at the clock going, oh, I can't wait.
Right.
It's at the minute it's kind of depressing to see the little event logo, right? And
Yeah.
see everyone still doing their chains, and I'm fucking done, which isn't my fault, I guess, for doing them so quickly. But then it's
Mm-hmm.
also like if there's no change in the atmosphere or anything, and it's just like mission chains, then is it even an event or is it just a bunch of challenges to do? Like it's
So
you know.
so what so what makes an event to you then? So maybe this is a conversation we should have then in terms of like overall, like what makes
Yeah,
an event
yeah.
versus like what makes like a daily login kind of situation, right? So like some games you have like daily quests or whatever, right? And this feels like something you get out of one of those versus in an event which wants to drive people to actually log in who may have not logged in for a while. So like, and with that being said, what would you do for an event then that would hopefully reinvigorate the player base?
Well, think thing is, I haven't played a lot of these games, right? So I can only go off a few examples, and already I
Sure.
can think of a better example being Division Two. So that
Mm-hmm.
will cycle through a couple of events. So I played one not too long ago. It was the reanimated one, where basically you got to get like when the enemy goes down, if you don't shoot them in the head, they come back up. They're not like zombies, but I think the idea is they're supposed to like mimic how a zombie works.
Right.
And basically, you get So when you level up or you do these challenges similar to the ones that we've got on mission chains, you get like these event tokens and these points. And if you get like 20, like the hardest is like 4, right? And then there's like 5 others that you can do. And if you get like 20 event points, you can cash in for like an exotic box, which obviously exotics are a bit better in Division 2 than they are in this game. But like my point is that so with this event thing, you can either buy like a bunch of resources, you can buy like an exotic, you can buy stuff like that. Whereas with this one, it was like it's the same thing I tune in to do every Thursday, but it's just kind of more focused and a bit quicker than usual. So obviously on a Thursday, I'll log in, you know, I'll look at my priorities, I'll go and do them, I'll do my dailies and stuff like that. You know, I'll do the challenges that are on my dailies and stuff, and that's pretty much it. This one, I did the same exact thing while also doing what the game told me to do, and I was done in the normal time that I would have been any other Thursday. So it's like, it kind of just seemed a bit kind of dull, really. Like, and I know that it was kind of like, oh, well, this is why they didn't advertise it a lot, right? Because it wasn't ever supposed to be anything massive. But it's kind of like, yeah, but we could have been told that.
Yeah, like
we could have been told it was going to be.
Yeah, saying that retroactively in like hindsight is like, kind of like a cop out. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you guys are like super disappointed with this. Oh, well, this was never supposed to be anything. It's like, well, if we knew that, then there wouldn't have been like kind of like this drumming up of like, oh, there's something new coming to the game, so let's get excited. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely feels like a cop out answer in terms of like that. You know?
Yeah. Well, sorry, you go first.
No, I was just gonna ask you, would an event vendor have helped for this for then? Like, so you collect all these chips or whatever. Would an event vendor, you like turn in some of these chips and you get like a percentage chance at like an exotic or a different gear piece? Like, would that have helped your incentive to keep going?
Well, here's what I would have liked, right? So if you're going to do something like this, where it's just like a couple of mission chains or whatever, but like say for some reason we couldn't have skins as a reward, say they weren't allowed to like put exotics for the every mission chain or something like that. Okay, just so we keep collecting the chips after the fact. The mission chains can still give resources. Fuck it, why not? But you collect the chips like any other resource, and yeah, like you just said there, an event vendor would mean that we can go there and we can buy either like a rotation of like exotics for quite high. So similar to like going to Roy or the faction vendors, except like they've got bigger shit there, which you can cash in with your event tokens. So like bottom row will be like, I don't know, like 3 different exotics that you can look at. And each are like 10,000 or something crazy like that, right? Or you could buy like, I don't know, 10,000 fragments, 200 upgrade. Do you know what I mean? And it'll keep rotating like that, but all the rewards will be massive. So it's not like you're ever looking at it thinking, why the fuck have they put like a 1-star blue in here?
Right,
paying for that. Like they all have to be big, meaty rewards, and I think that would have incentivized players to maybe keep playing even after doing the mission chains. And then you could take the vendor away, or just say the dude who's running it's fucked off until they wait for another event. But I think that what didn't make this an event was because it didn't introduce anything new at all. And I think when you have an event, to me, an event is something that makes the game feel different for that time. It's kind of like, so say like I said, reanimated, the enemies were all different. There was that event vendor, you know what I mean? Like it was like, you know, it wasn't anything that was like fucking amazing, but I was looking forward to logging in every day to get more event points to go and spend and get that exotic box, you know?
Right.
And whereas this game, it's like, why would I log in next week to these challenges that I've done? I'm pretty healthy on materials. I'm 150 on all my characters, so I don't really need them. Like if you were saying, oh, OOTs are the week after, right? So you're going to get new gear and stuff like that, or 160 or something like that. I would have been like, okay, well, there's something there because I'm going to get new gear and I need to upgrade it on everyone.
Right.
So there's a thought process there, and like, I think I kind of get why they did resources, because Tachyon Anomaly gave a bunch of exotics. So it's like, you get the exotics, all right, then we'll give them an event to get resources to go and spend, but it just didn't work for the majority of the player base. It probably worked for some newer players, but it wasn't for me.
So did kind of the way they handled part one and kind of the introduction of part one and kind of what was shown with part one, did that kind of did that in your opinion spoil any excitement you had for part two, or are you still hopeful that part two is gonna be better in that sense?
I think when I finished it the first day,
Mm.
like they literally, and I was looking online, and everyone had pretty much the same opinion as me, which was quite
Yeah.
nice. To be
Yeah.
honest, quite nice to think I wasn't some sort of like weirdo.
Right, out
But
on the island by yourself, essentially.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I was, and then straight after, I was like, oh my god, like this was an event that should have been these two things combined, but they wanted to stretch it out for some reason. So Red
Mm-hmm.
Room's going to be so dull, and there are a
Right.
couple of things that concern me, like
Mm-hmm.
judging by what we've heard. I mean, we're going to hear more next week, so it's unfair for me to speculate with confidence right now. But from what we heard on like the dev stream and tour, the way it is, it sounds like it's essentially Red Harm Room with a bunch of challenges in it,
Yeah,
right?
essentially, it's going to be like the harm room's going to be a little different in terms of like layouts and whatnot, but essentially, it's harm room content, which I know. Um, I already know how that's going to go. Yeah, I already can tell that's going to go very well. You know.
So, but obviously, it could be a totally different scenario. It could be you do the challenges, then I want to fight Elena. Just give us something. Give us
Mm-hmm.
like a glimpse of hope that we've got these. Like, because I have two theories that I wanted before part one. Now I have. Now, in my opinion, there's like fucking no chance. But my
Right.
my hope for it was like, so you know the nameplates. A lot of
Yes.
those nameplates look quite evil and quite
Yes.
dark for the Avengers. So I was kind of hoping, because in the beginning of the campaign, Kamala gets to play as Iron Man. I was thinking, with Yelena's hacking the harm room, she gets access to all the hollow Avengers, right? So what have we got to fight in the harm room? Like evil looking
Oh,
versions. But
interesting.
that's probably not going to happen,
And
to
that's
be
in the same
honest.
vein of people saying, why hasn't there been like Modoc and AIM had access to all of Cap's like blood work and stuff? Why haven't they cloned him yet? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in a similar vein to like what you're saying. I mean, it makes sense, you know. Like, but even speaking of Yelena specifically, like, um, like I always think back to like what Phil said at one point, where it's like villains can just drop whenever. Like he said that I think it was before the new year, and I was in response to a question about villains being tied to content. He said like new villains can drop wherever and whenever. Like so, it just seems like a once again like a missed opportunity if like they don't somehow create Yelena, and like it could be mostly Black Widow's moveset. You know what I mean?
I
Because
was
like
going to say,
essentially,
yeah,
yeah,
she
yeah,
could literally be a carbon copy of Black Widow because,
right,
why not, right?
right.
Like, but I mean, at the minute, we don't know if she even has a voice in this game.
And yeah, and that's like
And
I said
that's,
earlier the week, like a voice line would have done wonders.
wait, hold on one sec.
Yeah, no worries. So basically, what I said during the week, guys, is that a voice line would have done wonders for the immersion aspect of the event, right? Think you log into the game, you get a little pop up saying go to the helicarrier. You get to the helicarrier, and there's like a voice line comes through like the intercoms or whatever, right? Even something as simple as that, I feel personally would have done more with the immersion aspect of the event than just kind of logging on, having a bunch of mission chains, and just going there, for example, right? It's just like it's just once again, it's like missed opportunities of little things that overall do a
I'm
big
so
impact.
unprofessional. I'm sorry.
You're totally good. People, if they're watching this, they've known this for 11 episodes this far. But
Whoa,
so I
what the
was just,
fuck?
I was just saying that like, a small impact or a small thing such as a voice line could have a big impact to the immersion and the fun aspect of something like this, right? Because it ties
Yeah.
everything together in the sense that like, there's something more coming, even if it's not like even if it's not something immediate, even having a voice line there to signal that there's an enemy or a boss that you must deal with gives you an impression that it's all kind of, leading up to something grander versus like logging in, doing mission chains, collecting resources, which you've been doing normally. It just gives you the same sense of sames, like you've been doing this week after week after week after week. And it's just like, what did this do for my fun factor?
Well, I mean, Like the reason I wanted to complete all the mission chains was not only just for the review, but also because maybe we'll get a cutscene at the end. Maybe we'll get an audio log. Maybe we'll get a cutscene of the Avengers thinking to themselves, like, looking at all these chips and Black Widow being like, "Shit, I know who did this." Do you know what I mean? And we get like a cool little intercom thing. I even ran to where James Woo is, near the harbour room to see if it's a bit red.
Right, right.
None of it, nothing. And
Yeah,
it's like, oh come on, it's just these little juicy bits.
yeah.
Like you
That's
you
that.
you could have given us something like more visually, and I get the in your mind, oh, it wasn't supposed to be a big thing. Yeah, forgetting that it might be a bit sort of a cop out kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that, even small event or not, visuals are important
Yep,
to casual players and current players, because
yep.
when you got a Marvel game and you think to yourself, why aren't the robots glowing red and shit like that because of the harm room thing? It's like
Mm.
I get it. Where's the color? Where's the extra oomph if it's a lead up to something? Like I said this to a couple of friends. I was like, even though I'm done with the mission chains, I shouldn't feel like I'm done being a part of the event. I shouldn't feel like a loner. I should still be able to fight robots with red glow. I should still be able to see things
Mm.
visually different because I'm still a part of this event. It
Right.
shouldn't just be, oh, look, I still have a mission chain to do, therefore I'm not on my own here. Like, it feels incredibly lonely to play the game at the minute now that I'm done with mission chains, and it shouldn't really be like that. I think that they should have done it so that there's mission chains daily instead, if they're gonna do something like this. And I mean, look, they can still be the same mission chains if you fucking want. Like,
It,
just
it's
I
like
just felt kind.
you can still give the same message change. It's dress everything else up around it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
dress up, make an event vendor, give a voice line, do like the little things surrounding what you have as your core kind of content for this event, and allow people to kind of be immersed in what they're doing, and feel like, even if fundamentally what you're doing is not different, make them at least feel like it's different. You know?
Exactly, yeah. Because
Yeah.
at the minute, it just kind of felt like, again, just a casual Thursday, and that was
Hmm.
not really what they were going for. Like, I was in college, and I remember there was about an hour left before the event started, and we were just about to pack away. And I thought, fuck it, I'll check the Square Enix site. And that was the Rooskaya thing, and I was like, wow, that's late. Like, holy shit! Like,
Hmm.
wow. So I looked through it, and I was like, okay.
Right.
Like that, they did explain it there, in all fairness, but I thought surely not. There's got to be a bit of juice here. So
Right.
one of my biggest things in the reviews that I noticed is that when I logged in, I just dropped in done, like, and then
Hmm.
you begin, and I
Yep.
was like, no, no, like, it
Yep.
can't be just the main menu that you're expressing this with. Like, we should have logged in, and like,
Yep.
it should have been in our faces that there is an event going on, not just a change of background, because people might not know that there is another part yet. We've been smacked in the face with Red Room Takeover in May, but not many people, not everyone knows about the Rooskaya protocol. And it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to know that there is
Right.
one, besides like just casually looking over at the mission chains going, oh shit, there's some stuff I can do. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't tide anyone over because they don't rotate daily. It doesn't.
If honestly, if anything, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I was just
That's
saying,
fine, man.
if anything, this should have been a week. This should have been just a straight up week, and then you start your actual Red Room takeover a week early, and just have like a week where there's nothing. I think what they're trying to do is have every week so far have something, but what you're doing is you're stretching out what's already thin and making it thinner. You know what I mean? So because of that,
Yeah,
you're already
exactly. Yeah.
suffering. So like, honestly, for me, I would either done this week or the last week of May, say there's nothing happening, and then have one week where it's like you're doing the Rooskaya protocols, and then the 2 weeks that they're planning for the Red Room takeover. That's how I would have done it. Of course, like, there's nothing there for that one week or whatever, but honestly, is that really such a loss? You know?
Well, here's the thing. We only just literally like last week got through Tachyon Anomaly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a week, would a week of emptiness really been that bad? Not really. Like, if Red Room Takeover is just, in an all due respect, this, from what we can gather, just harm room some challenges in the harm room and a little bit of a variety in there. It's just harm room content without
Right.
a Yelena boss, without anything like that. It's just essentially mission chains in a different harm room.
Yep.
You can't stretch that for 2 weeks. You just
Uh,
can't. Not
they're
unless
gonna
there's daily stuff.
they're gonna try. I mean, honestly, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna try and stretch it. So I mean, like, it's gonna be gauntlets. It's gonna be new challenges. It's gonna probably be new layouts, and there's probably no boss fight. And they're gonna try and stretch it out for 2 weeks. I mean, I don't want to be like Mr. Pessimistic or whatever, but this definitely was like I like in all honesty, what I felt about Tack and Anomaly is a lot better than how I feel about what's going on currently with this event. You know, obviously both events are filler, so to a degree I understand. But once again, it's like the window dressing could have been done up a little bit better, you know, and without
You don't
doing
have
up
to
that.
make it obvious that it's filler. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and you don't have to make it seem like it's just a snack before the main
Yep.
thing. You can make it seem a bit fancier and put some fucking hors d'oeuvres on the side or something.
Well, you're not
Like,
wrong, man. You're not
and
wrong.
and and that's the thing. Like, I'm fine with filler content. I'm not a monster. I'm not fucking gonna expect them to whip the developers into cooking up crazy shit every week. But it's like, from what we've heard, Red Room's been a thing, been in creation for quite a while. If it comes out
Right.
and it is as short as we're describing it, or it's like, I'd be kind of disappointed. What I want personally is
Mm.
some of that. These challenges are absolutely fine as long as they reward very well. I'd like a Yelena boss fight because that's or something anyway. Like, give us something more with Yelena. Don't just put a name on something for the sake of it, right? Let's have something from her. Let's see what she looks like in this universe. If she's just a twin of Black Widow, I'm gonna scream into my pillow. Um, and just I don't know. I'm just nervous
It's
for it. Really
yeah.
nervous.
Once again, it's just like the little things that add up. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, and like they've been getting cut, and sometimes it's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Hearing that this has been in development for quite a while, um, I think it's a real echo of like the issues they're apparently having trying to develop content. Like, um, so once again, I don't know game development, so I'm sure there's gonna be developers who listen to what I say right now, and they're gonna be like, "Well, that's not how it works," and that's totally cool. But as an outsider looking in, if you're saying the Red Room has been in development for a while, and say for example it comes out on the 20th and it's just a dud, and it's just like stuff that you can get done in a day, and there's no boss fight, there's no Yelena, there's no this, there's no that. You look at that and you're like, wow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you think to yourself, like, as much as here's the thing as well, is I understand, oh, it's great that we've got something, but it's like, if that's your something, okay, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, sure,
Yeah.
sure. I like, and it's the thing as well, is like, it's gonna be shitty to have to get, like, potentially get to that point and it not be as special as we kind of want it to be. If it's cool harm room content, nice different look to it, glowy like red
Mm.
electricity and shit like that. You do challenges which build up. You get cool shit as you do the challenges, and then you fight your laner at the end. That's pretty sick. I like that.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If it's you build up to it, sort of thing. So you have to do these challenges in order to get your laner to be like, right, fuck this, I'll come fight you myself, right?
Right.
Or I'll send like evil Avengers hologram shit or something like that.
Sure.
If it's just harm rooms, the same layout, but it's red and glowy on the floor because it's supposed to be like electronic lava stuff.
Right.
Um, it's like, okay, so throw the enemies in there. Okay, cool. What do I get out of that? Well, you, my friend, get a nameplate. It's like, okay, what's the next one? Kill 100 exobots somehow in like a horde mode in the harm room, which would be kind of fun. But what do I get
Yeah.
out of that? Well, you, my friend, get 10 upgrade modules. It's like, no, come on, give me something
Do
here.
you think they messed up in terms of rewards, not putting those skins as a reward or any skin as a reward?
Absolutely, absolutely,
Mm.
absolutely. So they should have done it so that these red room skins were rewards for each of the mission chains. Once you've done the mission chains for the first time, the next week can be for the resources if you want. Like, I can't. MCU Widow would have made bank anyway. So why make people think that you're just shoving it all into the marketplace
Mm,
again? Because I like Tachyon Anomaly a lot more than this event, but you can't be blind to the fact there was a spring sale, which is fine, by the way. Spring sale, cool, whatever, I get it. But then you do another little event, and the biggest thing is the marketplace. What if Red Room Takeover is the same, and the biggest thing is the marketplace? You can't do that. You have to have a good balance. You have to have a chunky bit of content and good things to play, and then a good marketplace, because then they work in tandem. So if
mm,
I really enjoy Red Room Takeover, I think, you know what, they've earned me money, and I'll go and buy a skin. Vice versa, like if I, and it's how these games should work. If Red Room is just, I don't know, a mission chain in the Red Harm Room, whatever. Do you know what I'm fucking
right,
no?
right.
Like, and obviously, I understand they'll go for, I don't think it will be as short as that. I'm not trying to scare people thinking, oh, it is going to be arse, isn't it? Like, no. I think it will be at most what I said, a bunch of challenges, you gear up to it, get some stuff along the way, you fight your later. That'll be perfect for me. I'm more than happy with that. If it's
Mm-hmm.
anything less than that, I'd be quite disappointed, to be honest. But we find out what it is next week, so we'll can see.
Does this event, and I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit. Does this event kind of scare you for the rest of the content on the roadmap? Like what they're showing here with Tor saying this has been in development for a while. Does kind of you look at like this and say like, oh fuck, I'm scared for Cosmic Cube, Patrol Mode, Black Panther. Like, how do you feel about moving forward through the roadmap? Because um, personally, I'm not. But when they start saying it's been in development for a while, it's just like, where do you guys, where's the line between like this is not enough and we need to do more, or like this is good? Because to the player base it's like this is not enough, but to them it was this is good, you know?
Well, Tachyon Anomaly did something really good, and this is what I would class that as an event, because it changed the game structure a little bit by focusing on multiplayer. It was like a celebration of multiplayer. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So that I
yeah,
class that as an event. Doing something, playing as the same hero or matchmaking. That to me is a different change of mechanic.
mm-hmm,
Limited time. I class that as an event, right? You can whatever. It's a very small event, but it in scale of things, but it is still an event.
sure,
But this one that we've just had, nah, right?
sure,
If this was Red Room, then I'd be shitting myself. But it's
right,
not. So I can happily say I've got to wait till the end of the month
mm,
to sort of to say that. But then again, here's the thing: if we're saying, oh, they didn't advertise it because it wasn't going to be massive, they're advertising Red Room Takeover next week and giving us the details. So that's
mm,
got to fill some confidence up that it's like, all right, well, they're clearly not going to hide this, right?
sure,
So, we'll I think they've got a bit more confidence in that, which tells me it's going to be a lot bigger, which is good.
okay, fair enough. Okay, so I think we're kind of wrapped up with that part of the topic list. I think we've kind of exhausted that. I guess we can move forward to kind of the roadmap stuff, because I guess next week we're getting a lot of information, right? It's the roadmap,
Yeah, apparently,
it's
yeah.
post level 50 progression, it's the Red Room takeover information. So we've already talked about the Red Room takeover information. So where do you want to start with this? Do you want to start roadmap, or do you want to start post level 50?
Post level 50 doesn't seem as big as a roadmap updates. We'll go with that first.
Okay.
Depending on who you ask, anyway. I think majority would
Mhm.
agree on that. Even though I'm excited for it, I think that roadmap update could be a bigger deal.
Well, I mean, naturally, it should be a bigger deal because that's expensive content, essentially. With what's left, anyways, right? Cosmic Cube is a
Yeah.
villain sector. Patrol mode's patrol mode. And then obviously the expansion. So I would imagine like that's more expansive than like here's some new ways to get levels or get skill points or get whatever. Um,
Mm.
okay, so do you want to break down any sort of information that we have this far on post level 50 that's coming? Like, did Phil, because I know, did you do the recap, the dev stream recap?
I did indeed.
Okay,
I did
so
the
so do
little
you,
Ica
so
one.
yeah, so what do you know that's being talked about next week with regards to post level 50? Is it heroics? What, like, give me the breakdown.
So it's a bit of a weird one because there hasn't really been anything completely concrete to it besides the fact that it's just like there's a reason they put the XP bar in. It's not just for show, you know.
Mm,
Uh, there's a bit more to it than like I don't know really. They haven't really gone into much detail because it's all meant to be coming next week. To be honest,
right.
however, there was something in the chat. I think Play Avenger posted something
Hmm.
about it where it was like something to do with skills. Like, oh, is there going to be extra hero skills? Like, we'll talk about that soon.
Right.
It's like
Which,
maybe that's got to connect, right? Surely.
yeah, I would imagine that new heroics would come as part of the information next week, right? Because like, well, and I say that I don't think it'll be like a full breakdown of new skills. I think it's just be like maybe one or two. But I think now it's like depending on how they do post level 50 progression, you're gonna have updates where new skills could like come in. You know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I remember Vince doing a Q and A on Reddit, and he's mentioned that like there's a choice like ways to do that. So like updates in the moveset in the future and stuff like that.
Yeah, which I imagine they've left enough like room to do it. Okay, so I guess the big thing about post level 50 progression is kind of like the consumables, and I know this is a big topic, and I know,
Oh
um,
no.
well,
Oh
it
god.
is it is a fair topic to bring up because it is something that people posted. It is people that things that some people were talking about is, it's something I went a little nuclear myself on. Um, so in your perfect world, okay, this is the Stardust perfect world, and post
Okay.
level 50 progression is coming. What do you
Yep.
do with consumables?
See, here's the thing. I'm kind
Mm,
of disappointed consumables is a part of level 50 progression. Here's what I would have done with consumables.
yes.
Have them in an event world or for Polycoron.
Mm-hmm.
What they do is you go up to a vendor. Maybe the event vendor can do both. Whatever, you should put two pages on, and
Okay.
you can buy like XP boosts with in-game stuff, not real money.
Okay. Okay.
So so say I'll spend all right, I'll spend 10 Polycoron on 30 minutes of extra XP. You know, maybe do
Sure.
something like that. That's my best case scenario. But if we want to talk about this case, don't know how this will work. I don't get it. I don't know how what consumables could be for level 50 progression. I just don't.
It's
Like
just it's really weird.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
sorry, maybe it's like you level up 5 times and you'll get something to put into one of your skills. Like, oh, I want a bit extra on my precision stat, so you can go in and put that on.
Mm.
Maybe like it's I don't know. I'm
Like
looking
like
forward to hearing this being explained because I've kind of got no clue.
right. It's just it was a little worrying. I mean, like granted, I think I went off the deep end a little bit, but like um tying it in with the whole talk about post level 50 progression does make me a little worried of how they're going to implement this. I mean, um it just there's so many questions around it. There's so much in the periphery around the issue of the game itself, and then you start bringing in consumables and stuff like that, and your mind just starts to wander. Like, where is the line in the sand? You know what I mean? Like, I immediately went to purchasable real money transactions for XP
Yeah.
boosters, right? And that's not to say that is the only case for boosters or consumables or whatever, but like my mind just went they're trying to make more money, like that's where my mind went. Um and that's what scared me is like I don't want people to be able to just drop $100, get a bunch of boosters, and then like when post level 50 comes out, they're going up the side of the mountain running as quick as they can while the rest of us are still trying to make it there, right? um
Yeah.
but I mean, in essence, I am a very much so a purist in the sense I don't want consumables that boost certain things. Like, but if they did make it so it's like bought with in-game resources, I mean that's not the worst thing in the world, right?
Well, so because I'm reading chat as well while we do this, Jake made a really good point. Jake Pierce of why not use units for stuff, which is a good
Mm,
point because we've been getting a shitload of units. We want nothing to spend them on.
sure. I
So
mean,
like
yeah,
that's very fair.
sure. I mean, like there's multiple ways to do it. I always thought like dude, this might be like a totally out there, but I always thought like I think if I remember correctly, in Marvel Heroes, you had an item that brought like a spotlight on your character. Like that could be a very cool like kind of thing. Like I don't know if that's like worth the development resources right now, but like that's a nice little fun little consumable in a way that like, maybe there's an event chest or an event vendor, then you go and you collect all your event resources, then you go and pick one of those up from the event vendor, and then it brings down like a red light on you or something. That could be cool. Like that's a cool idea. Is that even in the realm of possibility of what they're probably doing? I mean, probably not.
It's quite
But
specific that.
yeah, not specifically that, but I think
I'll have to ask what connections you've got if that ends up coming on the blog next week. I'll have to be like, dude, who the fuck are you talking to? Like, holy shit.
Imagine, dude, just nail it like that, eh? I mean, like,
That'd be
there's,
crazy.
yeah. So I mean, like, basically, like, there's probably ways they can do it that is probably like, not go so nuclear that like, I'm gonna have to walk back a video or anything. But like, my mind immediately went to like, the worst case scenario because of that. You know what I mean? Like, they took an L with kind of the Rooskaya protocols, and then you see that it's like, oh fuck, here we go again, right?
Here's the thing as well is like I have a similar fear to that, but like
Mm,
because I don't play many mobile games, just because it's not a mobile game is not really my cup of tea. I'm
sure.
waiting to get a better laptop for BlueStacks, but it my mind didn't go to that. But what else can it really go to? Because thing was like, oh, what if it's a good place to look at your materials? But you mentioned this in DMs that it was like, oh, well, they call it resources, so why would it be
Mm,
that? And it's like, fuck, you're right. I'm trying to explain it in a different, like, completely, like, I mean, obviously there could be purchasable with, in-game stuff, and it could be something as simple as like higher chance to get legendaries for a bit, or no blues at all, kind of consumables, like
sure.
just shit like that, or it could be. I don't know. I just
I mean,
can't
like,
think.
okay,
It's
so
so
let me.
out of nowhere for this game to have stuff like this that you
Well,
can't help but think like what you're playing
Well,
at.
let me bring up a point here because Gavarino in the chat says consumables could just be extremely normal buffs like an attack buff, defense buff, consumables. And the only part of that I really disagree with is that the power fantasy of the game comes from your gear as well as your skills. So like for me, in a very purist sense, I much rather have them introduce gear that makes me feel more powerful, different combinations of perks that make me feel more powerful. I'd rather them work on ways that you can level up your character very legitimately in my head that allows me to feel more powerful, right? I'm a very purist sense that like I don't want to hit a button on my consumable page and then I go and I hit 20% harder. It's very hyperbolic, but like, and you already have stuff like that within your major artifacts as well. Why not just make new major artifacts that allow you to, activate it and get special stat buffs at that point for a specific period of time, right? Um,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
my,
here's
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, go for it.
Oh, you were talking.
No, and
Sorry,
I
I
mean
like.
like for me, like that's what I look at as stuff like why put it towards a consumables tab when you can make new major artifacts, when you're already working on gear 2.0, when you can make new heroics and skills. Right? For me, it's put stuff towards that will benefit everyone than just like a few consumables that maybe people use, maybe people not. But if you're already buffing stats one way, why try and reinvent the wheel and buff stats another way? You know?
Well, here's the thing as well is that on the weekly blog, the consumables page wasn't just in like you know, where was it? Where did Play Avenger post it on? What was saw nameplates? So it was kind of like in the
Yeah, it was in like a
cosmetics bit.
cosmetics area. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it was also a photo down where they show the comic book where it was in there as well. So if it's on every
Mm,
single tab, that doesn't help us try and pinpoint what exactly these are connected to, which is really
right.
fucking annoying because it's like, oh well, is it something marketplace based? It maybe not because it's also in the comic section. But then is it comic related? Because we know we've got more with them. The high rewards with comic books. That was a thing that they spoke about on the roadmap.
Right, right. So just a quick heads up, it is under nameplates. Well, and but to be quite fair, yeah, we don't know exactly. Excuse me, if that carries over to all the menus, which I imagine it would. So it doesn't matter which tab you're on. You hit L3 and it opens up to a new menu. It looks like regardless of where you are. So yeah, no, we have no idea what it links back to.
Yeah, so it's not like, for example, um, oh, if I go on the marketplace thing, I go on a specific page, I can buy the credits for it. It seems to be quite a broad thing, which that doesn't really tell us a lot, but
Yep.
it kind of doesn't make it easier to kind of break down.
Right.
This was the thing as well, is that like I think that something consumables wise should have been like, look, guys. It's not going to cost real money, so don't worry. But we'll go into detail next week about
Mhm.
what it actually is. That's all they needed to do, really, and then we wouldn't panic. If this blog comes out next week and it's like some fancy dancy reason as to, oh well, the players are a bit shit, so we wanted to give them consumables so they could buy them to maybe get a push, like similar to how they worded the XP rework. Oh mate, I would have put my head in my hands. I'm not gonna lie, like. And not even just because like why did they say that, but just because of the response they're gonna get. And I'm not trying to like scare anyone with stuff like this, but these are genuine possibilities. Like we've been burnt with really weird communication based on big changes before. You know,
Right.
the players weren't getting enough dings. Fuck
Yeah.
off.
Ethan, so
Sorry.
I'm not trying to read like certain people's messages. I'm gonna try, like, at the end of the show we're gonna do like a question. You guys can bring up your points or whatever. Similar to Friday, but like where it's not as like you guys are coming on Discord. But Ethan brings up a point here that says, what if when you level up post 50, you get a consumable token to buy a comic book of your choice to up your stats, similarly to like how a Paragon system works in Diablo 3. That's an interesting implementation of it. You know, they have been, they did talk about comic books are going to be, you know, comic books are going to have a purpose essentially. And there's going to be ways to kind of, you know, mess with them a little bit. But and Phil did say if you're continuing to collect them. So, I mean, I imagine it all kind of ties together, but it's just a matter of like the implementation of how everything kind of ties together, you know?
I mean, there's loads of different theories we could do on it at the end of the day. Like
Sure.
me and you could do literally 4 hours of just talking about what the fuck consumables could be. But at the end of the day, we're not gonna know till next week, like for sure. Anyway, like we could put our foot down and say this is definitely going to be paid to win, or it's definitely not. And then next week they'd say the opposite, and we look like dicks. So
right. I mean, I'm already gonna look like a dick, dude. So who cares at this point, right? So. When you make a video like I did and you go a little nuclear, I mean, you're already gonna look like a dick. So all right, so that's the post level 50 progression. They didn't say when that's coming out, right? They didn't talk about a day that specific one is coming out.
I don't know. I thought that was coming with the. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to be an opposite thing. I don't know if that will be with red rooms. Bit of info. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they talked about that the roadmap update's coming either Thursday or Friday. So I would imagine that's separate from the weekly blog. So maybe Thursday for the Red Room takeover information and post level 50, and then maybe Friday for the updated roadmap before like they can drop it and then go live to answer questions.
Didn't they show the last updated one on the dev stream?
I want
the one where it was like launched.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that one. But Andy did say it could drop on Thursday, so like it sounds like it is going to be its own separate thing before they go live with it. You know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just do it like because they're not strangers to posting, you know, weekly blog then another blog. So it's good choice. Maybe they do. Maybe it's like if level 50 comes with Red Room, they just shove that on the same thing.
Yeah,
and then do the weekly blog, and then it's like they do roadmap maybe with that as well. They just do a big fucking fat information blog. I don't know. It's
yeah. I don't know. I think they'll do separate. I think they'll do separate, but drop them together. So like you can you can read like the weekly blog first, or the roadmap blog first, or like post level 50 progression blog first, probably. And they'll probably do it that way. But I guess we should probably talk about the roadmap 50 roadmap update next week, because there was a few tidbits of information there. There was obviously the fact that a roadmap update is coming, you know, is pretty nice to know. Like I imagine we'll get like a clarification on Cosmic Cube and the date for that. I imagine we'll get a clarification on Cloney Labs specifically, because it sounds like that's a little further off than what any of us thought, you know, knowing that like I imagine it's Super Adaptoid coming first and then Cloney Labs later. And then they talked about moving stuff around, like something's moving around, which is I don't know if that's worrying.
Well, they also said, and this could be Cosmic Cube, but they also said they will go into more detail on one of the squares.
Well, that's Cosmic Cube. That's 100%
No, I
Cosmic
don't
Cube.
know, man, because
Okay,
that's a
no, 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 no,
villain
no, no,
set.
no,
We
no, no, no,
know
no.
already.
No, but there's like they said in the blog this week that like has like the boss fights we never seen before, objectives we never seen before. To me, it sounds like maybe they'll give an idea of like what to expect with that. E3, I think, is when you'll probably see more information about War for Wakanda. We're still a month away from like E3, man. They're not gonna blow their load for War for Wakanda in a blog.
Oh no, I'm not thinking that either. I
Right.
definitely not. Like these blogs that aren't on these big things will be like fuck. I mean, look, E3's probably Panther, Spider-Man, people like that, right?
Yeah.
It's that those are the look at our game type of
Hmm.
things that are coming. Whereas the other stuff is just for people who are around at the moment. So things like Cosmic Cube, Patrol Mode, those are things that are they'll get their own time to
They
shine. And
Well, I was just gonna say they also
yeah.
still have their Square Enix Presents in July as well. They got another one coming up.
Fucking hell.
So like that's what I mean. Like to me, it sounds like the roadmap update is like probably like a little clarification on like Cosmic Cube and what to expect from it, maybe a release window. And then basically then you kind of move forward and then you have like your E3 in June, maybe a little bit more information on War for Wakanda, and then you have your Square Enix Presents, which maybe is more information on like what to expect in the fall and the winter. That's what I think personally. Um,
Okay. So
but
so
yeah,
E3 shows off the money makers because that's the
yep,
casual gaming audience,
yep.
and July is more like here's our next chunk of roadmap. Yeah, that's very possible.
Yep. I mean, that sounds like what it should be in my head. Because like maybe at E3 we have like E3 like we have more information on War for Wakanda, and then whatever else we don't know is like left up to us to figure out. You know what I mean? Versus like the July event, the Square Enix Presents, is like here's kind of the last half of 2021. To me that totally makes sense and like how they should structure this. Once again, I never took PR or I took a few marketing courses, so but to me that to me sounds like a good way to do it. And then
I hope,
it just means
yeah.
like this Thursday we're not going to get Panther information if people thought it was going to be Panther information.
No, here's the thing. Like when they mentioned that, oh, there'll be more details. Phil's trying to sort out stuff to talk about patrols. So it's not going to be that.
Yeah.
Because what's the point in the blog if they're just going to say more on the little text? It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to be War for Wakanda because that's E3 for sure. So it has to be Cosmic Cube, right? Unless
Yeah.
they put a little, little little picture of Spider-Man up there on the roadmap. Jeez, like
Maybe. I mean, it's
I mean, look, that's the biggest possibility, right? That's like
right.
maybe that's too much thinking, but that's like the highest it could be. It's like they slot him in one of the bits, and they're like, yeah, you'll see him like because it won't be. It's an interesting one. I don't know, man. Like,
Can we talk about Spider-Man quickly? Can we talk about
yeah,
Spider-Man?
man.
Like, I don't expect any more information on Spider-Man anytime soon, to be quite honest with you. But frankly, being told on Friday that he has cool animations and cool outfits, it's like, of fucking course he does. Like, I don't like. I heard that statement and I had it read back to me, and it's just like, it was just like the biggest like a fucking chorus. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, how am I supposed to get excited about a character that's been pretty MIA, right? That we all thought was closer than he was, and then the only thing we hear about him since like September is like he's got cool animations and cool outfits. Like, what? Like,
All we've heard, and I said this on the video I did the other day. All we've heard is just since August, since he was announced, is it's being worked on, and he has cool animations and skins. Now,
yeah,
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, that kind of interests me about that is that surely them saying that he's got cool animations and cool skins, which is like, I hope the last thing that they kind of give all attention to is like is that indicator at all that he might be sooner than because if he's in fucking December to match with the film, that's the worst coming in 2021 I've ever heard in my life.
yeah.
like it's last day of December, boys. You gotta drop him.
I mean that's the thing too, is like we know that he has like emotes in place in the game as well, right? Like Miller had
Yeah.
like data mined the emotes, so it's like if he's closer than we think, then where is he? Like, is there content coming with him that's not ready? Like, like maybe the character's done. Maybe the character is done, the animations are done, and then maybe they're just building content out around him. Maybe, but like at that point, it's just like, why even tell us anything? Like, it's just so fucking, it's annoying, to be honest with you. Like,
I'm a PlayStation player and a massive Spider-Man fan, right?
mm-hmm.
I've beaten Spider-Man PS4 slash remaster like 5 times,
Yeah,
right? Miles twice. Like I cannot wait to play a Spider-Man in a game that I basically play every single day. I can't
yeah,
wait for it. It's something that will really keep me there just because I'm a massive fucking Spider-Man nerd, right? But when you're told he's coming in early 2021, because that's what it said on the blog, and he doesn't show up, I'm not angry about it. I get what's going on here, right? I get the process now. But when you get no news and it's now, I would say it's past early 2021, right?
you're
Would you say
getting
so?
to, yeah,
It's
it depends how you
getting
look.
quite on the line.
Yeah, it's depends how you define it, but like we're starting to get to the point now where like there's no justifiable way you can look at May or June and be like, that's early 2021. For me, early 2020 is like first quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, obviously, and that's the thing. Like, all I want to do is fucking see what he looks like. Like, give us like, what's his costume? Who's voicing him? If he's got a voice, even. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
what is he gonna come with an event? You know, like for PlayStation players. Like, come on, man. Like, let's have something. You know,
yeah,
like, and like. You know, I see the thing as well. Like, again, I don't want to like keep picking out comments and stuff, but it's like,
sure,
we like obviously Darius is just having a laugh, but he's saying that we want Black Panther. I want Black Panther too. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but my privilege as a Sony mark, I'm joking, is that like if Spider Man's on the box and it says 2021, then I'm waiting for to hear about it. And I get I get it's a touchy subject, but
mm,
I've seen players on other consoles be like, guys, you did say he's coming on PlayStation. Where are they at? Like, come on,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Do them a favor. They're hungry. Like they want the boy. Like, and
Well,
it's like, and
it just
it's
seems like people are just getting tired of waiting for anything about him. You know what I mean? Like, even just show him. Like like once again, I don't know if it's a Sony thing or whatever that Sony has to like be the ones to like unveil him or whatever. So maybe we're closer to a Spider-Man reveal than we know, but like at some point, it's just like you got to at least show the guy. You know?
yeah, like, and that's what I'm worried about. And here's the thing as well, is that you know, I mean, look, if they show him and he's just casual Spider-Man look, great. That puts a lot of fans to rest that they're not going to try and do anything that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a different cool suit, then that gets people hyped. If it's
Hmm.
ugly as fuck, hopefully they'll have time to change
Yeah.
it. Because there's, like, in all fairness, Spider-Man fans, especially the Twitter, are the most fucking harshest people in the world, right?
Right.
If they don't nail the look first and foremost, people are going to give them a lot of shit. And maybe that's why then maybe that's another thing that they're sort of like, you know, maybe they're trying to get a lot of clear up because Spider-Man's pretty much the face of Marvel, right? So it's like, you know, can we crystal dynamics this character up, or do you want him literally
Mm,
exactly as he always is, right? But then so are the Avengers. I don't know. It's a difficult one, man. I have no idea at
true.
this point. I've said that a lot today, but the reason is because it's everything is so difficult to predict with this game in the next coming weeks that it's like I can talk about what I want to see, but will that happen? Probably not. Like, I fuck knows.
Okay, so give me your most honest take then of what we're getting on Thursday with a roadmap update. Give me, so I've talked about that I think it's just a cosmic cube kind of clarification, a release window, maybe tying into exactly where Cloney Labs is going to launch and maybe Super Adaptoid. But for you, what do you give me two. Give me the one you want to see and then what you think is going to happen because I imagine they're very different.
Yeah, very different.
Mm,
Like, so the one I want is a little place where, like, you know, where's Spider-Man at, right? You're gonna give him his own box, you're gonna slide him into an event, is he gonna be a part of War for Wakanda? Like, come on, you know? Uh that would be the ideal. However, what I think is gonna be release date for Cosmic Cube.
mm-hmm.
One of the you know the things at the bottom where it's like the little extra bits, so it's got OLTs, comics are gonna get
Yep,
better
yep.
and shit like that. They'll
Gear and
slide those
progression,
bits
whatever.
up.
Yep.
and they'll put them in different slots, and they'll be like, so we know that can go there, that'll go there. You expect those things there, and that's it.
So what do you do with that empty space then on your roadmap? Oh, do you mean like drag it all so so those slots are now fully filled out in the page, essentially?
Yeah, no, so
Oh,
like
okay.
Omega level threats, right, are in that own little like box along with the
Right.
other additional stuff.
Right.
Essentially, like be like, okay, so we can tell you that this will begin here, right? And you kind of just show where these things are going to actually be implemented.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
You
And I
know, I
think
was just
that's,
I
I
was just
think,
I was just worried about the format of the roadmap because then you have like so much empty space that you could fill them with new things you want to put there. But what I think you're saying is that by doing that, you're stretching out like the Cosmic Cube box, the Patrol Mode box, the War for Wakanda box to fill out more information of those are coming, essentially, right?
yeah,
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 okay. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Um all right, I think that's it. Man, we do this live. We just burn through these topics really quick. I really like this actually. I can go buy my mom I was going to say I can go buy my mom a Mother's Day card today, you know? It's nice cuz I haven't done that yet.
Fucking
I haven't done that yet.
wow!
So I got
You
to
guys hear
so
that?
I got to go and
Jeez.
do I got to do
What
that
a
today.
shit son! Holy fuck! He gets all this YouTube money, gives me
Oh
none of it.
yeah,
Doesn't even buy
okay.
his mum a fucking present.
It's not that I
Jesus.
haven't, it's that I will. She's like not even home, so I can run out, I can go do it, and before she's even home, she won't
I'm gonna
even
tell
know,
your
dude.
mum that you didn't get her anything yet. I've got her on MySpace.
All right. Anyways, so I guess the last thing, the last thing we're gonna talk about today are Omega level threats because now we know that they're literally like, I want to say they're on the horizon, but is it like the horizon that's like 5 feet away, or is it like I'm like Mufasa and you're Simba and we're looking out over the horizon and like they're still way too far, you know? Um, so like realistically, let's start off with the top level. When do you think Super Adaptoid's coming? Because that's the
um,
first one. So like that's the first one. So like that's the question that needs to be asked. Like when is this first one coming? Do you think?
earliest it'll probably be a part of the Red Room patch. Latest it'll probably come with Cosmic Cube.
Okay.
Because it's kind of Monica related, isn't it? Like they mention in the weekly vlog a bunch of stuff that's like OLTs, Cosmic Cube. They're all Monica related things, right? So maybe they just
Right.
do a big like Monica like event tied into Cosmic Cube.
Oh, I didn't even
Do you know what I
think.
mean?
I didn't
So
even
Cloning
think
Labs
about
comes with
that.
Cosmic Cube. It's like this is Monica's beginning. This is her in her fucking final form. Big like we love Monica event, you know?
So you're saying Super Adaptoid then would come with Red Room Takeover, and then Cloney Labs comes with Cosmic Cube, essentially, right?
In an ideal world, yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Huh.
You're
Interesting.
fucking genius. That's why you have me
Wow.
on there.
Wow, dude. No, you know what? Because like honestly, my biggest fear with Cloney Labs, this one in particular, not just OLTs, in general, I do have this fear with OLTs in general, is that it's taken so long that like it's just not gonna get the people that they think it's gonna get the people. Like, a bunch of us here are gonna play it, we're gonna grind it, we're gonna have fun with it. But I think like there's a portion of the audience that have already moved on from the game that could have been end game players. And if they're gonna be like, oh, like OLTs end game, but they're just not gonna want to come back. That's my fear, is that like these aren't going to be as played as much as we may want them to be played because it's taken them so long to get them out. Colonial Lab specifically on that one.
It's an awkward thing because obviously you're right in saying that some players, who have left could have been really into those kind of missions. But I think that when you have these missions out, eventually when they're just there and people are like, there's no end game, that's why I left, players can be like, no, 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 there is now. You can come
Right.
back now. Do you know what I mean? And it's
Right.
word of mouth that there is finally an end game. So people will be like, oh shit, all right, well, I might come back then. You know what I mean? And they log in and hopefully these missions are really good as we want them to be. And then they're like, yo, these are sick. All right, I'm going to keep playing now. You know what I mean? And hopefully by this time as well, by the time those people do come back, because what will happen is they'll get the IoTs out and then say E3 is Black Panther Showcase, because that got a fuck ton of views on YouTube.
Right.
And obviously, Spider-Man, stuff like that. And then those players come back for Black Panther, level up their Black Panther, and then they're like, oh shit, there's Endgame, what OLTs, what are these? And then they've got them to work towards. So it's like you've got all that time working with Panther. For newer players, you can do the campaign, you can do all the other stuff, you can do War for Wakanda, and then you've got the OLTs to deal with as well. It's going to be a very complete kind of experience by the time like they're wanting to bring newer players in.
Right. So, what is your best case scenario for Super Adaptoid and worst case scenario? This could be it's broken, it's buggy, the loot isn't good, there's no loot at all, there's super good loot. Give me your worst fear for the first one, and I'll do the same. And then give me the best case scenario for actually let me go first. Because I feel like
all right,
let me go first. So my biggest fear with Super Adaptoid is that there's no loot that is tied specifically to him. There's no loot table for Super Adaptoid, right? So you're basically going.
They showed it on the roadmap trailer.
Was that a Super Adapt like in the Iron Man?
Yeah, the Super Adaptoid gear. That's why it
Was
green. Yeah, and the guys who got to watch the trailer, like Tony Bings and that, were like, yeah, Super Adaptoid gear.
Really?
Yeah.
I should probably be watching some other videos out there. That's just to shows you that I wasn't a part of that meeting.
Yeah, even the chat saying it, like Ethan. Yeah, the glowing green gear. Yeah, it was Super Adaptoid.
Glowing green. Was that okay? I didn't think that was Super Adaptoid gear. I just thought that was just new gear coming with the new stuff.
They're all fucking roasting you. And Tony Bings.
Tony mentioned this a few times. All right. Now, if this wasn't live, I'd be able to edit this out, but I'll take the L. I'll take Tony. All right, Tony. Thanks, man. There's 100% gear for him.
Cheers,
all right.
Tony. Cheers, Tony.
All right, so that is not a worry. My worry then comes down to like how fun it is to play, because that's always going to be the big thing. Is like, is it challenging? Is it just a boss rush? Like, what kind of objectives are in there? You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be the worst one for me if that doesn't turn out to be kind of like fun to play. Now that there's gear, that's great. I love that. Thank you guys, every single one of you.
I love this chat. I'm watching this. I can't lie. Everyone's like fucking bored dummies.
Listen, sometimes
Thanks,
the brain just doesn't work the way it needs to. All right. There's the show that everyone can make mistakes, but like for you, like, is it like, are you worried that it's not going to be fun, or is it not going to be challenging enough? Like, what's your biggest fear with OLTs then? Specifically, Super Adaptoid being the first one.
Super Adaptoid, minus the fact that Super Adaptoid is actually quite weak in regards to HP, has a lot of really cool features to him. So like I was playing a while ago on stream, like ages ago, and it was a thing where Super Adaptoid spawned a few more Super Adaptoids and then a couple of Adaptoids, and then the floor went all electrical and weird, and I was like, dude, I don't know what to do. Like, it was quite overwhelming in a good way. I was like, shit, and all my teammates started dying around me, but I could fly, right? So I was like, right, I need to fucking try and dodge everyone. It was really cool. Like, it's quite a lot, so it might not be for everyone, but it was definitely for me. I really enjoyed that. So if they could up that even more and give us kind of a really cool team-based experience to get to a Super Adaptoid, then I'll be quite happy with that. If it's literally just a more difficult version of the final mission of Kate's without any extra little icing on top or any little bit of or whatever, then why? Do you know what I mean? What's the point? But if it's like...
Well, because at that point, I guess your point is that you could just up your difficulty to challenge 4 and get the same experience then, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I know it's a case of if you die, like, that's it. But, and the loot is obviously going to be a lot better. But I'm kind of just desperately hoping that it's more than that, And also, here's the thing as well. Obviously, with it being green gear in the menu, Super Adaptoid, and it was 160, is 160 coming with the Super Adaptoid OLT as well?
I don't think
someone. Well, you didn't read you didn't even look at the trailer properly. So what do you know?
All right, what were you saying before you so rudely attacked me? Someone.
We know about someone. We're talking about.
You were gonna say something. Anyways, I guess my fear, like for me, I always envisioned power level like upgrades and stuff like that alongside like major expansions. You know what I mean? So for me, just having 160 appear out of nowhere, in terms of like us going to 160, not obviously the enemies being on 160, us going to 160. I always view that alongside like major expansions, right? Like now Destiny does it alongside like new seasons, right? Like you can take your power level to new seasons or whatever. But like when I picture like a full new kind of upgrade, to me that screams like expansion level stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, no,
Right.
you're right. Like you're right, but I think the thing is as well is that you've got this kind of this. I mean, look, at the end of the day, super adaptoid could just be you die once, you're done. Yeah, really good gear. It's fucking difficult though.
Hmm.
That's okay. Like that's
Sure.
fine. I mean, look, if that's the first one, and you're saying that it advances and gets more fucking cooler and stuff like that, that's eight. Um, Wait, I'm
I
hoping they. Sorry, I was reading chat real quick.
right.
No, but I think that like, that's all right. That's a good like starting base. I'm cool with
Sure.
that. I think that especially if the good gear comes from it. I think as well though is that maybe that isn't such a good idea to have as your first. Then because people kind of want to start off as OOTs as this completely different experience,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, like,
and
it's really
yeah,
weird that like now like Cloney Labs has been pushed back again because Cloney Labs to me is like a great intro experience, like what they want to do with like the dungeon experience, right? Like it's puzzles, it's four bosses, there's like different things to do. Like to me, regardless of how it plays out, based on what I've seen, that is a great intro to kind of what to expect. And now it's been pushed back, so you start with Super Adaptoid, and like and now for example like you get Super Adaptoid, and then based on what Phil said, you're taking a step back, in terms of like what they've done with kind of their vision of OLTs, right? You start with the second
yeah.
one, then you go to the first one, and then you get the third one, right? So it's like whatever they start with, whatever you get with Super Adaptoid, you might take a step back when Cloney Labs comes out, and then you go to the third one, which is going to more mechanics. It's like the progression isn't really there. You know what I mean?
Well,
It'd be like World of
Cloning
Warcraft.
Labs.
Well, sorry, it would just be like it'd be like World of Warcraft making a dungeon now, bringing out a dungeon with their new expansion now, with all their new mechanics and bosses and everything like that. And then they're bringing out like a classic one with classic mechanics. I'm sure there's some WoW classic fans in here, but the point is like there's no progression of like what they've learned over time. You're just going back to go back.
Well, Cloning Labs, we know, is even though it is still aim based, is a different feeling kind of mission. And
Hmm.
Super Adaptoid is just Kate's last mission, but harder. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
in a way, the progression is actually there because the second one's probably going to be a bit more boring than the first one. You know what I mean? So if you go
You think you
Super
wait
Adaptoid
wait
and
wait wait? You think Cloney Labs is going to be more boring than the Super
no,
Adaptoid?
reverse it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. My fault.
See, this guy doesn't fucking listen, does he, Chad?
Sorry,
It's
sorry, sorry,
crazy.
sorry. No.
Um,
So you're saying Super Adaptoid is going to be more boring than Cloney Labs?
it's not going to be as fucking big, is it? You know what I mean? Because it's the same. If it is the same thing we've done but more difficult, then at least Cloning Labs is going to have a bit of a difference to it. It's got a
Right.
different mechanic at the end. It's got different things. So perhaps it's not going to feel like there isn't a progression there because Cloning Labs is probably going to be more advanced than Super Adaptoid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. Just the way Phil's talked about it. He's always talked about how there's like progression in like mechanics and difficulty and stuff like that, where it's like to go back on that with your release schedule is just a little weird, but maybe they're just at a point now where the bugs have all been kind of I mean, they seemingly have fixed that one with the upcoming patch where it's the enemies spawn under the map or whatever. That's the big one that they needed to fix in order to get these, kind of out there. So um I mean, I just hope people play them, like it's going to suck if after like a week people are like I'm done with this, and just move on.
Right? Yeah, for
And that's
sure.
always
No, I get, I get
that's
him.
all that's always been my fear. It's like we want endgame, and then it's either the endgame doesn't hit or the player base doesn't take to it, and then basically it's like, well, this fucking blew, right? And for
My
me, it's
my
like it.
prediction. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go, finish. You're good.
My prediction for like OLTs is that they don't hit right away. It's a slow word of mouth kind of build up to
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's like players come back for Black Panther and then they stick around because of OLTs. It's not like I'm going to come back for OLTs. I'm going to
yeah.
come back for a character and then stick around for the content, because that's always what characters are going to be, right? They're always going to be the
Right,
ones that people want to jump back in for and play as, and the content that is there right waiting for them is the thing that's going to keep them sticking around. That's the reason why the game will always drop without end game, no matter who the character is, right? They could
right,
literally introduce the entire Fantastic Four or X-Men, and they'll people will eventually fuck off because there is
yep,
nothing to do with them, you know, and
right,
that's simple as that.
right. True. It's tough, man. Honestly, I just hope that they hit, man. Like honestly, for me, like I did say when OLTs come out, when Endgame comes out, I'd be back playing every day. So for me, I just hope that one now that there's 100% gear. Thanks everybody. I hope the gear is plentiful, right? Um, so the gear's plentiful. It's good. Maybe a new major artifact. I don't know if they're gonna do new major artifacts with every OLT. We've seen a few of them. You know, we know Lifeline tablets coming with Cloney Labs, right, based off data mining. And then there was that one trailer they did for their YouTube channel. This was 2 months ago, I think. Was it 2 months ago? And then there was basically like a bunch of new major artifacts shown in there.
It was what?
Yeah,
Sorry.
there was a video. It was one of their like very fluffy videos. And it was like kind of like introducing like certain things in the game, and within that there was like some new major artifacts there. I hope chat backs me up on this one, because if not, then I know they all have your back and not mine. But
They
um
do anyway.
yeah, true. So I don't know if there's going to be new major artifacts with every OLT. It could be nice though, you know. It could be nice. I don't know how long it takes to make a major artifact, to be quite honest with you. So um maybe there's something there. I don't know, man. There, Tony says there was perfect, and same with Bull.
Okay.
Perfect, perfect.
Wait, what was the title of it? I can look at it while I
Oh,
distract
oh, was
Tyrell
it?
long enough.
It was their cosmetic explanation video, Puppet Master. So there we go. So maybe there's
Oh,
stuff
what,
like
the
that coming.
Essentials one?
Yeah, like I
All
said, it
right.
was like their very fluffy video. Yeah,
I'm here for it. Right. You keep talking.
yeah. So I mean, like, hopefully there's more of that coming. Like, there's more things to kind of grind over and over again. With that being said, remains to be seen. So while Stardust is kind of looking for this
doing
video, it's
doing
cool,
some
man. It's
research.
cool. Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, like we could totally do chat questions or take points from chat at this point. And we can do that
Right
for
at
a
the
little.
end. Thank you, Puppet Master. Thank you.
Perfect. Puppet Master coming through. Coming through. I can see Black Panther having a heart-shaped herb as a major artifact. That could be cool. That could be cool. Patrol
I can
OTs
see
are the
that.
most important content drops coming. Hoping Patrol mode allows for easy introduction of many new villains with a need for big story
Ah.
content. That's a good point, man. That's a good point. I think that's exactly what they should do with Patrol mode for any content or any villains, right? Drop them in there, and then you already have the villains in the
Wait,
game.
wait. What
What's
was
up?
that?
What?
Minor artifacts, and they've got like helmets in the place for the artifacts. That's so weird. Is that what you
Yeah.
mean, chat?
Well, no, there was like it was like a transition. There was a transition, and in the transition, you saw like a bunch of new major artifacts there. Or was it? No, it
Which
was
one?
it was it was major, not minor. Yep, like 10
I
new
can't.
major artifacts in the trailer. Brooks, we'll get to yours, your
I
ideas
can't
in a sec. Don't worry,
see
man.
it. I'm getting stressed.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. We'll bring it up.
I'm gonna.
We'll bring it up.
I'll slow it down. I'll slow
All
it
right.
down. Why have I
You're
got
good.
Dutch subtitles on? What the
I
fuck?
don't know. Do you guys
Okay.
consider leveling up content? In what way? Like leveling up now? Like, say for example, I get a new character today, and I'm running through the same thing. Like, it's like very surface level content, but I don't think it's like deep or anything that I'd be perfectly excited for. For me, content is new enemies, new locations, and new mechanics, new objectives, stuff like that. That's what I think of content.
Are you sure it wasn't the gear one, lads? Because I don't know. Like, I'm just not seeing it here.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Didn't they say we haven't seen the last of MODOK? Could he be a new OLT? I always thought MODOK would be a villain sector, but Phil has said on one of the dev streams, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Someone might have to correct me on that. When I asked him if they're interchangeable, or no, does being exclusive to a villain sector mean you are not going to be an OLT and vice versa? And he said for the sake of variety, they don't want to double dip, but it doesn't mean never say never. That's what he said. It was like 3 weeks ago, I think.
I'd be quite shocked. Like, tell Star there's like a shield coin in it. You know, you guys are sending him on a wild fucking goose chase.
It's honestly, it's honestly in there, dude. It's honestly in there.
Oh wait, there's one. It's like a weird stone.
It's like that might be the lifeline tablet you're looking at. It's like in their transition. It's not actually shown. It's like in their transitions. It's really weird. If I had it on hand, I would show you. I was talking to. They said level gating and leveling up is content really discreet. Like they said, increasing the level cap is content, which I completely. Yeah, comedy. And to be honest with you, man, I guess we can do like kind of an open topic session now. To be honest with you, I don't view like leveling up alts as content, but like there's a reason why people liked Marvel Heroes, for example, and it was taking a character from 1 to 50 over and over again. So for some people, they do look at it as content. For me, I don't look at it as content. I look at content involving something new to the game. Just taking a character, say for example, off the top of my head, Scarlet Witch dropped today. I don't view that as like content, you know, personally speaking. Cage says he's going to send it in the Discord, so you're good. You're good.
Thank God. Okay, I can focus now. Okay, so I don't really see people, leveling up new heroes as content, but I don't see it as, I don't know what you said because I was focusing, but so this might be a complete copy, but
Sure.
it's like, it's still not content. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I enjoy it, and I'm playing the game and it gives me something new to do that I couldn't do yesterday, then to me that's content. You know what I mean? Like it's not content.
Sorry, so you would consider characters as content then, right? Like how would you define a character? Because that's a new thing to do.
Content, very short-term content. Like, so obviously you can't stretch out a character's level. So say like at the minute the way gear is, right? There's a pretty good idea how to build your character. So it doesn't take very long, like to go from you get to level 50, 150. That's kind of it until new stuff comes out. But I would class a character as short-term content to level up and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like a new game mode that you can grind over and over and over and over again, that's long-term content. I can always go back to that.
And
whereas
it feels almost like
sorry,
I was just gonna say it feels like splitting hairs over what you mean by content. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you read Tony Bing's thing, and you were like, "Oh yes, sorry, Master Bing."
Well, I mean, like, you're not wrong. Like, he's not wrong. Like, you're splitting hairs essentially.
Yeah, we are really splitting hairs.
But I mean, at the end of the day, exactly. It's homework the hat today. I mean, at the end of the day, like content is whatever you want it to be. Essentially, if you find content, new characters, and you can play them, like that's totally whatever it is. Don't let me or anyone else tell you what content is or what content isn't. If you're having fun playing it, regardless.
Hey, fucking bully.
Okay, so I know Brooks is in here, and he wanted us to talk about his ideas for some heroics for some characters. It's in the Discord, the Assemble Podcast Question Discord channel. Yeah, if you want to pull that up and we can just walk through it, we can talk about it. I wonder, what do we have? We have some Winter Soldier stuff, some Black Panther, and some Spider-Man stuff. All right.
Wait,
I think you're gonna have a lot to say about the Spider-Man one because I think the Spider-Man one goes exactly against what you said in your video, right?
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, because the Spider-Man one goes exactly against what you said in your video where you talked about you don't want Spider-Man to have gadgets, right? If I remember correctly, that video you did.
Yep.
All right, so I do watch your content. So let's go with Spider-Man support heroic. So we'll start off. We'll go bottom to top then. So we'll start with Spider-Man, go Black Panther, and then go Captain Marvel. We'll kind of talk about some of these, right?
Okay.
All right, cool. So Spider-Man. So this is from Brooks Studio in chat. Brooks, if you want to, say hi so everyone knows this from you. So Spider-Man support heroic. So for that, he has Spider Drone. Summons the Spider Drone to support you while in combat. Assault heroic is Web Bomb. Flips up into the air and slams down a web bomb, sending webs everywhere. That's a pretty common one even depending on which game variation of Spider-Man you are familiar with,
It's
that's pretty
very
common.
shattered dimensions, very shattered
Yeah,
dimensions.
well,
That
that's.
is.
I mean, I've seen that in Marvel Heroes. I think I saw that. Was that in Spider-Man PS4 as well? I think so,
That was
right?
in. That was in. No, that was in MUA 3 as well.
Right, MUA 3. Okay, perfect. And then Ultimate Heroic heightened senses slows down enemies for 25 seconds while increasing your speed by 30. Okay, so I know you're the big Spider-Man guy, dude. So I'm gonna let you. You're gonna talk about these ones.
Okay.
Wait, hold on,
Okay.
hold on.
Okay. So.
Is this the Spider-Man
Oh.
leak? No, this is Brooks Studio in my Discord. People can post their ideas, any questions, things they want Stardust and I to go over, and we kind of just talk about them. So this is Brooks Studios' ideas for some heroics for some characters, and we're just gonna kind of talk about them. All right, sorry about that.
Okay. So I'll start from bottom to top because I agree with the ultimate heroic one. I would change it up just a touch though. So rather than be for 25 seconds, I would make it so that it's similar to the um, polymorph ability Kamala has. So it instantly counters shit, right? So if you know in that zone, it's very easier to parry stuff, dodge it, and you are faster at the same time. So it's kind of like I know some people think, well, why not make that his overcharge? But I'm just going off what this is here.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with the heightened senses and spider sense stuff. I think the web bomb. I don't know, man. I think that's quite safe. I think they could do a bit
That
more with it.
that is pretty safe. Like that is like, I mean, like it is in multiple
Yeah.
iterations of Spider-Man across video games. So I mean, if I mean, it's something people expect, I would think, right? Or maybe like, so
Yeah,
like, so
like
okay, so
by the way, Jake's got it quite right. So
mm,
edge of time skill that Pete can use to increase speed. I totally get where the inspiration is from. I think that if you, I get it. I mean, in a way, slowing down enemies would also make it so that it's like easier to counter stuff. So maybe I'm just splitting hairs there. I think I'd make it longer than 25 seconds though. But if you'd end up doing some sort of like orb build, you know, where you just get orbs repeatedly in that might be a bit of a piss take to have it any longer than 25 seconds. So I actually think I agree with that now. I'm just literally arguing with myself at this point. Like, so yeah, no, I like that one. Web bomb is a little basic, obviously, but I think that let me try and think of one just completely off the fly. Maybe it's kind of difficult actually. Kind of difficult.
I mean, it is a little hard. I mean, to be honest with you, like I said, it is pretty basic, but it does seemingly have roots in a lot of other Spider-Man iterations across video games. So maybe you do go the basic route and kind of keep something that says like, you know, this is our version of Spider-Man, but here's something that calls back to other variations of him. You know?
Yeah, so obviously that's absolutely the thing is he's got such a vast move set that
Mm,
you think to yourself like would web bomb not fit into like a power attack? You know what I
right.
mean? Like would that
Sure.
not fit into like one of his like air power attacks or something like that? Like you could fit in both. That's quite an AoE thing. I think
Right.
that like maybe fuck, no, that is quite difficult actually. I remember I wrote down somewhere
Mm-hmm.
once upon a time about the heroics I would do for Spider-Man, but like I would have to do a lot of searching again, and I'm not willing to waste any of more of your time. Like, so the spider drone one, if they go the gadgets route, yeah, that makes absolute sense. Because what you could do is you could
Mm.
do what the spider drone does. Does it attack enemies? Does it heal your friends if they're low on health? What does it do? You know what I mean? So that's really, I think that's fine. You could do a lot with that. Maybe you could do. I don't wait. Hold on. Let me see if that's not in chat. Okay. Our assault could be kind of like Kate's singularity. So you web them all up together, and then you do like a fucking huge like web zip kick into all of them, like a massive web kick. If you know what I mean. So like you swing kicks them all like bowling pins. Yeah, that'd
Sure.
be pretty cool. If you don't, and for support, yeah, I think you can only really go down that route, which is kind of annoying because I would rather try and stay away from gadgets.
I was gonna say you're kind of on like the pure side, and I say purist, but in the sense of like you rather them not do any sort of gadgets whatsoever for Spider-Man. Do you like why is that for people who may not know?
To be honest, my sort of thing with it is in the Insomniac version, which is obviously going to get compared, right? If
Hmm.
you do, if you obviously they're from Insomniac, the Ratchet and Clank guys, they're going to be fucking, they're always going to be sick with gadgets. So it's don't try and do a piss poor version of that. Try and go to the roots and do your own thing. You know what I mean? Like if you do try and do him full of gadgets like the Insomniac version and none of them hit, it's just
Yeah,
a bit like, oh, it's just kind of like a shitty Poundland version. I don't want that. I want them to do their own Spider-Man, or of like a go back to classic Spider-Man, where like it's not any of these fancy gadgets like suspension matrix and stuff like that. You know,
sure,
like.
sure.
And people like obviously in the comments, people are going to be like, "Well, Spider-Man uses gadgets. He didn't always." Do you know what I mean? Like web shooters, yes, but it wasn't always like spider drone attack. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it wasn't always stuff like that. And I think that going back to form, especially on a world like this, is it'd be pretty sweet, you know, to just kind of have really old fashioned Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's I do see your point. I just wonder if, like, is that not an evolution of the character then? Like the evolution of Peter Parker kind of being more in line with like Spider-Man himself, and like Spider-Man can do more than just kind of web people up now. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of a lore question there that, we'll have
It
to dig
depends what
into.
they do. It depends what they do as well, because like combat
Sure.
wise, I wouldn't be totally against just a good old fashioned flashy web slinging brawler.
Mm.
Would I say they do a war table, right? Would I fucking roll my eyes if they do gadgets? No, like it ain't that deep. Like
Right,
I'm just
right.
excited to see him. Like you know, he could have all his heroics could have gadgets involved, and that's totally fine. You know what I mean? That's
Mm.
more than okay. Like I'm not angry about it at all. And maybe that was a problem with my video where I was like, he should not. It's just sort of like I think it'd be kind of cool. Do you know what I mean? To go
Sure.
back to roots with this character, while the Insomniac version is the one who's fucking using a bunch of gadgets and stuff. Like, because there's a law way to explain why Peter Parker might not trust gadgets and stuff. You know,
Sure.
got to
Yep.
keep his family safe. You don't know what Aim's fucking hacked into and stuff like that. You know, there's ways, but obviously, you know, if he does have a bunch of gadgets, cool, cool. That's you know, it's not something I'll roll my eyes at.
No, for sure. I mean, um for the ultimate heroic, would this slow down the enemies um for your teammates, like your multiplayer teammates as well? What do you think about that? Because I
Oh
think
shit,
I look at
yeah.
this, I look at that, and I'm like, how like you slow them down for
It would
everybody,
have to be like an AoE thing. So like it appears like a circle appears around him, right? And
Oh,
like
and it would.
maybe
Oh, I was gonna say,
and
then
then
as you
so
move,
if
the
you
circle moves
run,
around you.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
you
Yep.
move, the circle goes with you, and then
Yep.
the enemies slow down. Because realistically, the spider sense works when like at least in my head in this scenario, they have to get close to swing their fists anyway, and then it slows down, and then you can easily parry it and dodge
Mm.
it. If they're miles away, it doesn't really matter anyway. Do you know what I mean? And if you need to close that gap, there's probably going to be a web strike mechanic similar to how Widow's grapple is, or Clint's grapple arrow.
Yeah.
So like you know, just I think that's fine. Just have a circle around him. I think that cures that problem
I.
straight away.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was looking at that. I kept looking at that while you're talking. I was like, huh, what do you do for multiplayer? Because like that's the thing too, is like you gotta balance it with multiplayer, right? Because one of the things you don't want to take away, like you don't want to like disadvantage like your teammates or whatever too. You want to make sure, and you got to balance it with like giving them advantages as well. So
I think in my head canon, if
mm,
Spider-Man didn't use the spider drone here, I think the best thing to do for support heroic would just be an ability that webs the fuck out of everyone. So I would actually change it. So support heroic is yeah, yeah. Did you ever play the PS1 Spider-Man game?
uh,
Literally just called Spider-Man.
I'm gonna say no because I don't remember. That's a long
Loser.
time ago, man. That's a
What
long
you
time
do?
ago.
So what he does, he's got an ability in this where he covers himself over. It's not the only game to do this, but it's just one I've got an example for. He like
Sure.
covers himself in like this web cocoon. He like explodes out of it. What you could do is rather than actually do damage with that, because realistically that's not going to hurt anyone. It covers everyone in webs in the area. It's like an AOE web sort of thing, right? So then they're all webbed up. That is technically a support character, right? Like that's support in a way because they're all stuck. So say you're in a position where like all the enemies are fucking getting a bit overwhelming. You do that, web everyone up, they're all stuck for a bit. There you go. You know.
Sure. Yeah, if that's what your idea is, why not? I mean,
Why do you
um,
sound judgmental with that? What?
no,
What was that about?
I
Look,
no,
this
dude.
fucking guy.
Listen, dude. I
Honestly.
totally support um your ideas, man. Totally
I
cool.
don't know.
Totally
It was
cool.
sounding really
No,
sarcastic.
to be quite honest with you, I'm not like too big on how they do Spider-Man versus you, who's very big on how they do Spider-Man, right? Like you did a whole video. So for me, I'd rather listen to you, and if that's what you think, then yeah, sure, why not? Why not? Because at the end of the day, I think unless they totally botch it, I'm just excited to play Spider-Man. You know?
I hope Peter has web boxing gloves that deal double damage and slows enemies with web. That could be a really good assault heroic, but then we're going too far into like the just like he has no moves then for his heroics. You know what I mean? They're all just like environment based. So
Mm,
I like that one because obviously it's very Spider-Man. His hands are fucked. He's about to fight robots most of the time. That's kind of like that makes sense, right? But I mean, maybe he can do that for his ultimate heroic. Maybe like he can cover his hands in web before he does the heightened senses and stuff like that, and then it does a bit more damage as well as slows enemies down and stuff, right? I think that'd be really cool.
okay. All right, so Black Panther time. So Brooks here has support heroic reinforcement. Reinforces the vibranium in the suit and grants him immunity for 25 seconds. He doesn't have anything for assault. And then his ultimate is, Honor Guard, which summons the Dora Milaje. Now, the only thing about the ultimate here is I always thought that the Dora Milaje could be very cool major artifact summon. You know what I mean? That might be the only one I
Yeah,
take actual issue with, you know?
So reinforce. I like the like immunity with the support. I think
Mm,
obviously if you can give that to like other heroes as well for a little bit, that'd be pretty sweet. Like maybe shorten the time a little bit and make it so that if enemies hit you, they hurt themselves a little bit as well. Not too much, but just enough to kind of damage them a little bit. Almost like
right.
the vibranium's a bit like fuck off, get off me. Do you know what I mean? Because I know it's a
Yeah,
build up, but just they could do it differently. We don't know.
sure.
Honor guard,
That's the only thing
summons the
I
Dora
take
Milaje.
issue with, you know? That's the only one I take issue with because
That's
I would
quite OTT, isn't it, for a ultimate heroic, especially if you do like an orb build, assuming they don't nerf that kind of build, and it's just
mm,
fucking constant Dora Milaje. That might be a bit much. Yeah,
well,
so
if they
I'd
nerf
say you're
those kind of
right.
builds, my Captain America is downright useless. So let's hope they don't. Um, but yeah, I mean, like for me, I've talked about this before. I would like to see more summons as part of major artifacts. So like, I would much rather see a major artifact that can summon the Dora Milaje than tie it down to like an ultimate heroic, right? That's just personally speaking to me, anyways. I don't know if other people feel the same, but for me, I always said that like, summons are like a great way to introduce like new characters or new like supporting characters into the game. And for me, the Dora Milaje would be a very cool summon. You just kind of tap those buttons, and then you get like the Dora Milaje out there just whipping ass alongside you. You know?
I think a cool assault heroic or ultimate, depending if you think it's big enough, is we've got to
Mm,
do something with that vibranium suit. Yeah, we've got to do that big vibranium explosion, right?
sure.
And I know that like you think to yourself, oh well, surely it's overcharged, but then I don't know, man. I think you could go. I think you could go differently with that and make it
Mm,
so that, like, say, assault heroic is like just one big fuck, similar to Widow's Bite, but full of vibranium energy. It just does one big fucking attack. It just boom. Do you know what I
so
mean?
you're
Like,
talking like that, like the kinetic energy, then, like how like he
yeah,
absorbs the Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, I mean, like
and
I've
then
always,
yeah,
yeah, for sure, for sure. Sorry, I cut
like
you off there. Did
obviously.
I kill your idea?
Yeah, thanks, man. It's
No
simple,
worries, no
typical high
worries.
roller shit. So
Yeah.
obviously, assault, ultimate heroic. I'm not too sure. I'm kind of trying to avoid doing the whole similar thing that we're doing with Spider-Man because you could do that with any hero really, and just make
Yeah.
them fucking, get them upgraded versions of themselves and just have them running about. But like,
Right.
yeah, no, it's. I can't think of ultimate heroic, but that would be my assault heroic idea.
Okay. And then the last one there is Captain Marvel. So Brooks doesn't have anything for the support. Assault is Photon Blast, charge of Photon Blast, which I imagine is just like, just I guess maybe similar to Tony's Unibeam. I guess in execution of that.
Yeah, that I hear that and see
Hmm.
that. Yeah, which is
Yep.
fine.
And then ultimate heroic is binary. I mean, for people who don't know, she like absorbs a bunch of energy and she turns Super Saiyan essentially. So overcharges her intrinsic, increases damage and flight speed. Which I mean, I think binary is gonna be the ultimate anyways, right? Like, I think if you're
I don't
looking
know.
at
I see that as intrinsic. I see that as like you
really,
can. I do. I do. I see it as
okay,
intrinsic.
why? Let's hear it.
I don't know. I just picture the scene of it, right? You know how Thor and Hulk have like parries that they don't actually have to do anything. It just
Sure.
happens, you know? Like it's just like says Thor like quick fucking, Warriors not Warriors Fury. What's his intrinsic called? Help me out, Bluz.
Dude, my brain's not working today.
All right, the lightning shit.
Yeah.
And Hulk's obviously he's got the rage and stuff like that. I think like binary. Oh fuck! I don't know. You put me on the spot. I'm not
I don't.
like.
I look at binary as like such a power
Yeah, there we
upgrade.
go. Mole's got it. Mole's got it. Binary intrinsic, but ultimate is infinite intrinsic. Thank you,
Mm,
thank you, Brown Bull as well. Odin Force. That's it.
yeah, but ultimate is infinite intrinsic. I guess. I mean, to me, I always look at binary as such a power upgrade versus like normal Carol. That for me, like the execution of binary should be saved for like a big moment. You know.
Well, I mean, I don't know too much about Captain Marvel. I just know like
Basically,
basics. So
like
you're probably right than me.
binary is just like her going Super Saiyan, essentially. Like that's really like the best equivalent that I can give it to you.
Oh well, in that case, I would have it as just a power attack. No, fucking hell.
Oh god.
Joking, joking. No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the rest of it, I mean, I worry that like Captain Marvel is going to borrow a little bit from Iron Man in that sense, like photon blast being like the unibeam and then her throwing out like photon blast normally as like the
I mean,
repulsors do, you know?
it seems very Iron Man based. So binary is essentially Hulk Buster, photon blast beam. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, what do you think the support heroic should be if you were to
For
say one? 'Cause you
Captain
seem to be,
Marvel, I
yeah.
don't know, man. Well, no, I'm not like a huge Captain Marvel buff, but I just know like binary is like like a next step in her power level, right? Like for me, I don't know what I would do for support heroic for her. I'd have to like even like
Everyone seems to agree with me, by the way. So binary intrinsic would be like Super Saiyan, and binary ultimate would be like Super Saiyan 2. I can live with that.
sure. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that if that's the execution of it. You know, I just want to make sure like that binary has its moment to shine, essentially. You know,
Attack buff for support heroic, maybe, maybe.
yeah, I guess that could work too. I guess something like that could theoretically work. I just feel like you're limiting yourself then by your support heroic. You know, you're limiting like your ability to do things with it. If you tie it to your assault, then basically like it's just there for like an L1 R1 instead of like tapping your L1 in like certain situations. You know.
No, fuck. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it's
Mm.
like, Captain Marvel can absorb energy in the comics, right? So maybe that could fit with a support, like absorbing a little bit of damage from projectiles into a power attack.
Ooh, that might be
That's a good
interesting.
point.
Yeah,
That's a good
something like
point.
that could be
Yeah,
cool.
support heroic. You take damage and fucking absorb it into like doing even more damage. So
And
you
we
take
already
damage,
have
you
an
do double of that.
yeah, we already have an overcharge mechanic. So I mean, like stuff like that could theoretically work. You know.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
There you go. I mean, like
All
Captain
right.
Marvel, and that's where some of the characters have a lot more freedom in the execution of it. Like, Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange are three characters I think any of us could come up with like a crazy fucking moveset for, and like they all theoretically could work, right? Because like it's not like an Iron Man, for example. Well, even an Iron Man or like Captain America, for example. It's like Captain America is a very basic character, right? He punches, he kicks, he throws his shield, right? Essentially. Versus like a
Yeah.
Doctor Strange can do many things, Captain Marvel can do many things, Scarlet Witch can do fucking everything, right? And that's kind of where like a Captain Marvel bunch of ideas can spurn out, and like any of them theoretically could work, you know.
Yeah. No. I mean, like sometimes you're gonna have to make ones look like the others. Like when it gets
Sure.
to a point where this game's got a bunch of characters in, it's gonna be very difficult to make them all feel completely different.
Right. Right.
So eventually you're going to have to take some ideas and Captain Marvel them up, for example, right? And
Mm.
that's just, to me, I don't mind that.
It's
Like, as long
it's
as
the
it's not.
consequence of having so many characters that essentially are like ranged, melee, and then but you could spark them up. It's just like the basis of those kind of restrictions will be like Scarlet Witch will be a base that they'll probably use elsewhere. Doctor Strange will be a base that they use elsewhere, right? It's all about establishing the
Yeah.
base and then taking bits and pieces and moving them around. Sure, sure. Um, all right. So I think what we could do. I know Darius asked a question specifically about villains in War for Wakanda. Um, I guess this is one that people are kind of interested about. How many villains do you think are going to be in War for Wakanda?
Two.
Two. Which
Two.
ones?
Claw and M'Baku. I
You
said
think
that right.
M'Baku's going to be a villain?
Yep, man ape.
Really? Why is that?
Yep. Why do I have to always give you an explanation? Why can't you take my answer? Why you got? He
Because I
wants
like.
no. Listen, chat. Listen. He wants to get this response out of me so he can fucking drill it down and make me feel worthless. I'm not
No,
letting him do
because
it.
personally, I see it as Claw and like Killmonger would be two very cool villains. So like, and I like someone said Claw and Ultron, vibranium,
I think
aimbots.
Ultron would have his own thing. I do. I
You
think
think
Ultron
so?
would be in his own big thing. Yeah,
Like,
he's too.
mhm.
They're building him up too slowly to just go right. War for Wakanda in a couple of months. Bah! Do you know? I think it'll be something that like he'll be the next big bad after the Kree. I think
Really,
that's
you're gonna
or
save
no.
him that far?
I just like the slow build up.
But you know how
I like.
far that but like realistically, you know how long that's gonna be, right?
You know what, mate? I
Like, and
think the thing
I'm
is,
not trying to put you down. I'm not trying to put you
I think
down.
you know what, mate? You know what I think this game needs more of waiting. I think we need to wait even. Sorry, all right. No, no. In all seriousness, I think that Claw and probably Killmonger, realistically, right? And Baku would be a cool little mini boss or something. But I think that like I would see that. Ultron isn't going to be for a while. He'll probably be before the actual Kree invasion, but
Do you think they could lay the
maybe.
do you think they could lay the groundwork for Ultron then? Like, and some
Well,
teasers here
yeah,
and
no,
there?
yeah.
Like,
In
because
War
like
for Wakanda, that's
they
the
already
groundwork's going
have.
to be laid.
Yeah, because they already
More
have. But
so.
like, but in my head, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking this the same. It's like aimbots, um, vibranium, and Hank Pym. Like there's the concoctions there. You just got to push the pieces together to get it working. Like,
You got to start. You got to start actually putting the idea though in people's heads. So we've got at the minute is Roy, and like we need a bit more than that. You know what I
sure.
mean? Like we need maybe like Kree technology warps Roy, and he goes fucking Ultron-y and berserk and weird. Do you know what I mean? Like there's ways of doing it. I think that Ultron is such a big villain though that to have him right before an invasion kind of makes you realize that yeah, Ultron's not gonna fucking win. It kind of
Mm.
ruins his like steam if it's like, well, we know he's gonna get like.
Oh, so you're thinking basically the idea is that um they build Ultron as kind of their response to the Kree invasion. Even though we win, they're thinking this isn't going to be the end. You build Ultron, and then
Yes.
yeah. So
Kind of,
narratively, it
kind
makes
of similar,
sense. Yeah.
kind of similar to the way the MCU did it. So we have this big
Right.
fucking invasion, right? Well, we need summit to protect the world because we can't be everywhere all the time, right? So let's
Sure.
do that, and then yeah, we think, well, we got some Kree shit left over. You know what I mean? Let's
Sure.
do some stuff with that, and it warps. It turns up because think of it this way: if you've got
Yeah.
Ultron before the Kree invasion, there is no shot that Ultron has a chance. We are getting to the Kree invasion. We
Mm.
just are. We're getting to that stage. That completely sucks out any like excitement for what Ultron could possibly do because we know our heroes are going to be absolutely fine. Story wise, it ruins his. Don't know how to explain it. It ruins his big villain feeling if
Sure.
we know we're gonna pass him and get to the next step. If he's a stepping stone, Ultron, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Like he should be respected.
I guess I didn't know you felt so strongly over Ultron.
I just no. Listen, right, fucker.
What's up?
At the end of the day, Ultron. I mean, everyone's been buzzing for Ultron ever since we even saw Roy's existence, right? They're
Yeah.
doing the slow build up, right? With the Kree, they're just like, oh, right in your face. Whereas Ultron is a slow build up. They're clearly respect him enough to not just fucking put him in the next DLC pack before anything exciting comes up. So, like, why not let that pay off? You know
My
what I mean?
only
Why just dump him before the invasion, kill him, boom, done, Kree? It's just a bit like, what? Like, he's not a distraction. You know,
mm,
he's a main villain. He's not just a side
my
character.
only worry is, right? My only worry is that Captain Marvel is going to be the climactic kind of umph behind the Kree invasion, right? We can probably both agree on that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
My only worry is that it's going to be probably early next year when we see Captain Marvel. Um, and because of that, then you look at Ultron, what, next summer? You know what I mean? That's my only worry, is that like it's going to be a while before we get an Ultron kind of thing. When theoretically there are ways to kind of.
So let me try
Sure.
and put it to this way, right?
Sure.
Would you rather not as good of a build up and have Ultron as just like a side piece, but at least he's out, or would you rather have it so that they focus on Kree with a little sprinkle of Ultron stuff in there, and then give Ultron this big like villain thing? But then again, and this is correcting myself, like sort of arguing
Sure.
myself, do people don't want robots anymore? And if you're gonna have Ultron as the next big bad after the Kree,
You're going right back to
we're
robots.
going right back to robots. Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe, but then it just seems like such a waste to have this cool, build up from pretty much the very start of the game with Roy to then just waste him as a side piece, a side character, like a side villain. You know,
I
it's a bit
guess. I
eh.
don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess we both view it different ways. Just to me, I would much rather see Ultron sooner than later, because I think I think they know now that once we want to be done with robots. Like I have a very hard time seeing them moving away from robots and then moving back to robots. You know what I mean? I feel like once they try and move away from robots, if it's successful, they're done with robots, Just because the player base is just sick of it. So in that sense, for me, I would much rather see Ultron sooner than later, because I don't want the reception to Ultron be um fucking robots, even though it's
Maybe they
Ultron,
maybe they could do a really cool like thing before the Kree then where it like corrupts all the fucking aimbots and shit and like
sure.
does some crazy stuff like that. But then it's just and then they could bring him back later because Ultron's like he's not just a body, is he? Do you know what I mean? He's like
Sure.
a thing like a virus.
Sure.
So it's like so
I'm just so worried about the player reception to like robots, Like I think everyone's just sick of robots. So
I
I
don't
just
know.
I
I totally get that. That's
yeah.
the only thing that puts me off my own argument
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that like it's kind of like shooting yourself in the face a little bit. But
Right.
I hear Ultron and I think big villain and I think like just having him as like a stepping stone to the Kree invasion just feels like injustice. You know what I
To
mean?
me, I would much rather see Ultron. I would much rather see Ultron before, and then maybe see like the Thunderbolts come out after the Kree invasion or something like that. Or Hydra is more prominent in the world now in order to kind of take advantage of like the invasion or something like that. I would much rather see them move away from robots at a certain point and then come back. And then never have to worry about coming back to robots. But I mean, I see what you're saying. Like narratively, it may make sense to in that way, instead of like just rushing robots out or
Well,
rushing
you
Ultron
don't
out.
necessarily. It doesn't necessarily have to just be go back to robots. Like if they add multiple enemies into this game, like maybe there's two big bads. With
Mm,
like more than a couple of big bads, so you've got more factions to fight. Maybe it's not that bad. Like replace the AIM robots with Ultron robots, and then you've got a load of different enemies as well, loads of different missions. So like rather than it be like shield missions and human missions, one could be like, oh, here's some claw guys you got to go fight. Over here, you got Ultron dudes. They've taken over the Eastern Seaboard. Claws dudes have invaded Pacific Northwest. You know what I mean? Like,
mm.
and you go
So
over there,
so
but
essentially you're taking the Division 2 approach then with how they do invasions in Endgame.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it shows you who's like. See, when you go over a mission, it says like, oh, the Black Tusk are here. You know what I mean? Or you've got
Mm.
these different factions over here. It could be something like that. And every so often you get a special version of that mission where like another faction's taking it over, and it's like more difficult. So maybe Ultron's bots could be the essential like Black Tusk.
True.
And also, Jake's pretty much spot on with this. Basically, if you remove or new Ultron, all of the hints and development with Roy will feel rather redundant.
Okay.
There you
okay.
go.
Yeah.
So fucking don't disrespect my man.
sorry. I didn't know we had an Ultron stands in here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I mean, like, regardless, I mean, I just hope he's fun. Like, at the end of the day, I just want fun fights, and Ultron seemingly can give you one, so I hope they follow through with that, regardless of where or when he shows up. So, all right, man. We're just about to roll up here on 2 hours. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today before we say goodbye to the lovely people?
I really enjoyed doing this.
The live format's a little different. Yeah, it's a little different. I liked
really
it.
Enjoy these.
Yeah,
I like this a lot. I like being able to talk to people, and it's nice that people are a lot nicer live than they are afterwards. Like, it's nice that like afterwards, because I like to read the comments on this. I like to respond to some people, and I said that, and I remember the week that I said that, and fuck me, there was some High Ruler and Stardust. Right, reverse that, puts me first, and then you're onto something. Thank you.
No, I mean, like, the live format's actually like really fun. I like, regardless of how many I've been responding to, I've been reading every single comment, and you guys have been throwing out some good ideas, and so maybe this is something we'll just kind of do from here on out, man. We'll do live format. PS Bald.
No,
yeah.
I'm really enjoying reading the chat, to be honest. I like watching people react to us as we say shit. Like, if I say something proper mental, I love watching the chat react to it. And like, for example, earlier, and I'm not trying to take the piss.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
But when you took that L earlier about Super Adapter, I was like, wait, chat, and I was loving it.
Yeah,
it's
a different vibe. It's a totally different vibe.
It's like hanging out with a bunch of mates. Do you know what I mean? I like that a lot.
Yeah. So I
think that's it, man.
I think it's settled for how we move forward with these. We just kind of do these live.
Just do it live.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Very cool, guys.
Yeah, nice one. Cool. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
Nice one. Yeah.
As with every ending of a show, Stardust, you get first crack at final shoutouts, man.
All right. So everyone, you're all lovely people, but I need assistance. Your boy is about to put a smiley face in chat. If you love me, which I love you all, please subscribe. It means a lot. I'm trying to get to 300 by like tonight, or else I'll cry myself to sleep. And that's it, really. Just kind of focusing on a YouTube channel at the minute, man.
No, that's good, man. It's all good. That's what that's what it's here for. With that being said, guys, obviously, go spend today with your moms if it's Mother's Day. I'm gonna go buy my mom a gift really quick. It's almost 5 o'clock. Shit.
You say mum really weird. I don't know if that's like
mom.
I feel racist now. Sorry.
No, I don't know how that would. What? You're okay. All right, so that's it for today's episode, guys. Obviously, if you're new here, seemingly this is going to be a thing Stardust and I do. We'll be live every Sunday, kind of talking Avengers, talking with you guys, and then we'll just kind of make this a thing now if people really like this. So I appreciate everyone hanging out. There was a lot of people here today that kind of hung out and chilled and whatnot. So at the end of this will be once again made into a VOD. This will also be made into a MP3. So that means Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts. You guys will find this under Assemble Podcast. And then with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I hope you enjoy your Mother's Day. Shout out to everyone, who already bought their mom's gifts, flowers, said Happy Mother's Day.
It's not Mother's Day over here, so I'm just watching you all be mother simps.
Yeah, well, you know what, dude?
Fucking.
I was gonna say something, but I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna not say it.
No, it's too late now. We're live. You gotta say it now.
I was gonna say, I sent your mom a nice text this morning, so, but I wasn't. Yeah.
Alyssa's in chat, so
I know that's why I regretted.
Have fun with that, man.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Thanks, man. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time here enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And this has been Avengers Weekly Recap, episode 12.
John.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, guys. See you later. Adios, amigos. Bye.
Bye.